everyone, I'm Michelle. For those of you who don't know me, why not? Why haven't we met? Come meet me later. I live in Highbridge, and this reminds me of at the end of Joy Luck Club, the theater is crying and my mom turns to me and she goes, "Why are these white people crying?" And I was like, because they understand the story. They understand the story. And I think we all have a story, right? So I just want to share a little bit of my story with you guys today. First of all, thank you for coming. It's so amazing to see you all out in the rain. Can somebody get our congressman a umbrella, please? Okay. So I grew up outside of Washington, D.C., in Northern Virginia. And you wouldn't think that an area that rooted for the Washington Redskins every Sunday was racist. Surprise, there was racism. And I didn't know the words to "This land is your land" until I was an adult. Because what was sung at me ended with, "If you don't get out, I'll blow your head off. This land was made for me, not you." That was sung to me on the playgrounds that I grew up on. What made my life bearable was not huge actions by adults. The adults really kind of let me down, I'll say that. And adults tend to let their kids down. No matter how much we try to do the right things, we sometimes don't get it right? Because I would tell my mom, "Mom, these kids are beating me up on the playground, they're doing these things," and she'd go, "Show me who they are, I will kick their butts." And I'm like, that's not helpful, so I kind of shut down. I didn't want my mom to get involved that way. I didn't want this to be a big thing, right? Kids often don't want that. And I know we're all rabble-rousers, and I know a lot of you from rabble-rousing days, and we elected this one because we're all great rabble-rousers. But, sometimes the rabble-rousing, while it makes us feel better, it's hard on the kids, right? Like, if we're being honest. But we gotta do the rabble-rousing. Let's not stop the rabble-rousing. What helped me as a child was the fact that I had friends, okay? Just simply having friends. And those friends came from adults who taught them kindness, not niceness, but kindness. And there's a difference. So kindness, as my wife likes to always say, is direct, draws boundaries, and is inclusive. Niceness kind of lets things go. So I think we're at the point where we're beyond niceness and we're moving towards kindness. Growing up, I had a best friend. She was my best friend from when I was in kindergarten up until we graduated from high school. She was Irish, Ellen O'Flaherty. And her kindness and her friendship was not a big gesture. There was no scene on a playground where she stands up to the bully and she makes this big, no. Her kindness was inviting me over to her house for dinner. Her kindness was including me at lunch. Her kindness was small things, small acts. Just saying hello, being my friend. Lisa Francis was my other good friend growing up. She was the first person I ever met where her mom and dad had different last names. What was that about? I guess they're crazy liberals, right? So I first heard a Beatles record at her house. First time I ever heard the Beatles, it was at my friend's house, right? So it was radically normal. Imagine if we can just be radically normal towards each other. And For me, I think my ask for everyone here as we move through this world is, yes, big gestures are great, but those small gestures, the small things that we do for each other, the fact that those kids I grew up with knew better wasn't because their parents sat them down and had a big talk. It was tisking at the disgusting things they might see on TV and saying, wow, that was gross, right? Like, I didn't like that. Your kids are watching. So if you have children or children around you, the best thing we, I think, can do is set the example of being radically normal, okay? And just remembering that your kids are watching. They're watching your reaction to things, and they're watching how you react in the face of overt racism as well. And it's nice to say to Uncle Bob at Christmas dinner when he says something off, color, and you say, okay, Uncle Bob, that's nice, pass the potatoes. What I'd want us to practice is kindness, which is to be direct and say, Uncle Bob, that is completely unacceptable. The kids are listening. You may not talk like that at dinner. It's actually kind to do that. It actually is. We cannot let our niceness overwhelm us to the point where we're paralyzed and we don't say what the right thing to do is. So the last thing I want to say is, and I know that some of you may have heard this before, some of you may have even said it, the I don't care statements. I don't care if you're purple, green, black, or white. I don't care. I'm like, oh, the purple person's here. I know where this is going. I don't care if they build the mosque down the street. I don't care. Because you know what I hear? I don't care. I want us all to care. Radically care. And say, you know what? Actually, I care if that mosque is built down the street. And I care that it wasn't because our state senator sucks and stopped it from getting built. Okay, that's Mike Doherty for those of you who live around here. Let's get him out. Radical rabble-rousers, where are you? Yes. So I want us to say, you know what? I care. I care that you're black. I care that you're Asian. And I care about you. It's not an I don't care. It's an I do care. And I know that each one of you is here today because you do care. You wouldn't be out here in the rain if you didn't. But it's radically important to care. And I think that once we express that out loud to each other, our kids will invite the other kids to come sit at lunch. And it trickles out from there because we all have a sphere of influence. Some of us have a sphere of influence that's bigger than others, but we all have a sphere of influence. And it matters what you do, what you say, and what you say no to. So I appreciate that you guys are all here. I guess I am the Asian community, so I'm repping everybody. When the weather is nicer and when COVID is finally done, y'all are invited over for some Korean barbecue, and we'll just, have a great day of it. So, sorry, sweetheart, I just invited all these people to our house. Okay. So thank you so much for being here, and yeah, I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it, and we feel it. We really